First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikak Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom. Come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of day lesson is, destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope to sweep you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start today's lesson, I have a few news articles, but we'll start here first by this one by APR, Associated Press. And it reads, Trump says Israel-Iran ceasefire is in effect after deal initially faltered. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, it said Dubai, United Arab Emirates. It said U.S. President Donald Trump said a ceasefire between Iran and Israel was in effect Tuesday after the deal initially faltered, and the American leader expressed deep frustration with both sides. Said Israel has earlier accused Iran of launching missiles into its airspace after the truce was supposed to take effect. And the Israeli finance minister vowed that Tehran will tremble. The Iranian military denied firing on Israel, state media reported, but explosion boomed and sirens sounded across northern Israel in the morning, and Israeli military officials said 2 Iranian missiles were intercepted. Trump told reporters at the White House before departing for a NATO summit that in his view, both sides had violated the nuisance agreement. He had particularly strong words for Israel, a close ally, while suggesting Iran may have fired on the country by mistake. So we're seeing right here that, they're constantly seeking peace, but we're knowing that there shall be none. Because one thing about it, we already knowing that, when they say peace and safety or peace and security, then total destruction will come upon them. So we already knowing that, we're going to have the highs and the lows and these birth pains, it's going to kick up, then it's going to die down. But we know that all hell is going to break loose. So right here, it's saying that they're going to come to some type of ceasefire. But we already knowing that, they shall burn the whore. And also we seeing that these nations are constantly is gathering, coming in an alliance against the West and Israel. So these things are constantly happening right before our eyes. But we already knowing that these things are going to spiral out of control. Whatever, it don't matter what type of deal that they'll try to do, he has bound that he cannot pass. So one thing about the Lord is constantly making Esau barren and barren. And also, he's making his own tongue fall upon himself. And also, I got a video that DJ Donald Trump said that they don't know what the F they are doing. So, what president ever even spoke like that? The king of Babylon, this tyrant, that's over America right now. We already know that we coming, we very close to these draconian laws, these unrighteous decrees. Also, we know that at some point, we know that this economy is going to crash, the end of the dollar, bring forth a new system, and also we know that MOTB is right around the corner. So we already know once World War III be fully engulfed, we know at some point that they're going to have to implement the implementations of this MOTB, this grain of rice. So we know we're coming very close to that time. This man, he has a very short time. The devil's getting ready to come down with great wrath because he knowing that his time is very short. Read this once again. It said Trump said Israel-Iran ceasefire is in effect after deal initially faltered, because they were saying that Iran had fired 2 missiles, you know what I'm saying? Maybe intentionally, or maybe it could have been a mistake. But one thing about it, we already know that the things are going to pick back up. And also we know that Russia is constantly, slowly is getting involved. You already know that the bear, you know what I'm saying, is going to get it popping. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we already in America is constantly what? Poking the bear. You know what I'm saying? Also Israel, you know what I'm saying? Constantly, you know, starting things left and right, you know. And one thing about it, we already knowing that the Lord is getting ready to put them to shame very soon. And also, once again, the Lord is constantly exposing, constantly uncovering all this wickedness. And out about it, people are beginning to see who is causing all these problems upon this earth. It is the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. So now I got another one right here. Let's get this one right quick. It's another one here I want to get here by Reuters. It says here about this air base. It said Iran fired missiles at U.S. base in Qatar. Trump calls for peace. He's constantly saying about peace, and we know that there's not going to be any peace. We're in a time of what? Of war. You know what I'm saying? The second war has passed, but the third war come quickly, which in fact is World War III, the last and final war, the wars to end all war, right before what? The great and glorious return of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. The Lord's going to return in the midst of World War III, and the Lord's going to get it popping with that laser and chariot fire. Also the indignation that these IBCM missiles are getting ready to fly. We're constantly warning you left and right. It says here, this report here is, this news article here is by Reuters. It said Iran fires missiles at U.S. base in Qatar. Says Trump calls for peace. See, once again, you know that's the key word, peace. But they shall seek peace, but there shall be none. So exactly, we are in wartime. We're in a time of trouble that we're coming upon, a time of trouble that we have never seen before. Salakia, you know what I'm saying? You know, great tribulation, great death, great persecution, great sorrows. They are fast approaching. We are here. It is at the door. It says here, let's get a little summary. We don't go into it too deep. It said Iran's missile attack on U.S. base in Qatar causes no injury. Said Trump praise Iran advance notice urges peace with Israel. So it said oil prices dropped 7%. So right now they keep talking about this pretty much, you know, we knowing that at some point that Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, and these Arab nations, also these African nations, are going to come up against Israel and also the United States. We already know what Revelation chapter 17 says, you know, it's Ezekiel chapter 38. So we're coming upon that time. It will be no peace. Destruction cometh, and it's coming very quickly. And they shall seek peace. Right now, they're are seeking peace, trying to negotiate, trying to come up with some type of peace deal or some type of negotiation. But one thing about it, we already know that we at the end of this man rulership. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is getting ready to bring judgment upon this earth like we have never seen before. In the middle of the Lord, we're constantly warning you left and right. So right here, so they hit one of these bases over there, but it was pretty much, you know, no injuries. But we already knowing that they're going to hit America and Israel with everything they got very soon. You know, one false move or one false event that would take place and going to cause a domino effect. The Lord is going to cause these things to happen. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is gathering the nation. The Lord is setting the stage for this last and final war. You know what I'm saying? The battle of what? Armageddon. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's judgment. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, what did that when you go to Joel chapter 3, man, we're here. So let's get this one right here. It's something, you know, I want to get about this dollar. We see it right here. We're just going to read the title. This here right here is what news break. You know what I'm saying? You know, so we see it right here. It said the U.S. dollar no longer invincible. So as global markets shift, but we're not going to go into this article. But one thing about it, you know, a lot of people, are going around here thinking that the dollar is going to last. We already know that the brick is on the rise. The brick nations are on the rise. We constantly seeing a sharp decline in the U.S. dollar. And also they said they're going to do away with the penny. And also I think the nickel is next. And also there's already rumors that they're going to do away with the, I think it was the $20 bill, if I'm not mistaken, or the $100 bill. One of the two, you know what I'm saying? I could be wrong. I had to do another fact check on that. But one thing about, we know at some point that the dollar is getting ready to become obsolete. Things are getting ready to go digital. We already knowing that we're upon that time. And also it was rumors that that they're saying by July, some part of July, they putting this new digital infrastructure in place. And you already knowing that, you know, you're going to have to go under your skin, this grain of rice. So now let's get a quick precept before we start today's video. And after videos, I hope, after the video, you know, we'll start the lesson. I hope that you will get edified. Let's go here first. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 1. Let's start up right here. It says that, but of the times and season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. So we know perfectly well what time and season that we're in. You know, so we're living in the end time, real time. The end is being manifest right before our eyes. It's very what is being revealed. You know, and one thing about the men of the Lord, we constantly warn you about all these impending dangers. It is here at the door, so there's no need. You know what I'm saying? That we know what time that we're living in. We know that we're here. Verse 2, it said, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord comes as a thief in the night. So, you know, the day of the Lord is going to come when people are not aware, when the people are constantly, you know, thinking that everything is a sense of normalcy, you know, thinking that, you know, it's fall down the line. But one thing about the Lord said, he's going to come as a thief in the night, unexpectedly, when you're not watching, when you're unaware, when you're not being circumspect, when you're not redeeming the time wisely. It's the time that we're living in. Verse 3 said, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction comes upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So that's exactly where we at. You know what I'm saying? Let's read in the NLT. Said, when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. So that's where we at now. So they keep talking about peace over here, peace over there, even though that America went over there and bombed the hell out of these nuclear facilities. Now all of a sudden now you want peace, but there will be none. Because one thing about, we already know that this man don't know nothing about peace. We can look at his track record. It's very bloody. He is the bloody and deceitful man, and the Lord's getting ready to cut him off. We cannot wait. So now let's go here. Let's get this one here in Job. Let's go here to Job chapter. Let's go here to Job chapter 15. Job chapter 15, and we'll start up at verse 5. Job chapter 15 and verse 5 said, for thy mouth uttereth thy iniquity. Thou choosest the tongue of the crafty. So right now, you know, we're seeing right now they constantly, you know, going back and forth, constantly exposing one another, left and right. You know, already said DJ Donald Trump already said that Israel and Iran don't know what the F they are doing. They're constantly pointing the finger at each other, but we already know who is the problem. Esau, Edom. Let's read in the NLT, verse 5. It said, your sins are telling your mouth what to say. So your words are based on clever deception. But one thing about it, the Lord is shedding light on all this deceptions and lies. You know what I'm saying? It's coming out in the open. The Lord is has had made Esau bare, and he is greatly despised among the nation. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, we're here. And the Lord said he will make him small among the nation also. So he's very exposed. Verse 6 said, thy own mouth condemneth thee, said, and not I. Yea, thy own lips testify against thee. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. Once again, Donald Trump said they don't know what the hell they're doing. And also, you know, they constantly, you know, saying that, you know, blaming all sorts of things on Iran, blaming all sorts of things on this country, that country. So it's just so much back and forth. And also, you know, we have a lot of these people right here in America are revealing the plan what Israel and also America, what they really want, you know. And also there's already rumors that they're saying that they want to take Iran apart. And also, you already know that this red devil want to come in and get those minerals, out of Iran. So you already know we're not ignorant of Satan's device. And also they're saying that this is all a part of the plan to bring down America and bring up this new system, this new digital society, whereby, you will not be able to buy or sell without having it in your right hand or your forehead. So we already know that this system got to go. We know that America is getting ready to go down, but one thing about it, their hands will not be able to perform their enterprise. So right now, the Lord is constantly saying here, Job chapter 15, verse 6 said, your own mouth condemns you. So not I, your own lips testify against you. That's exactly what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So the Lord is making, making their own tongue fall upon themselves. So one thing about it, what they're meant for evil is getting ready to turn upon them. For us, for evil is getting ready to come upon their own head. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is a master chess player. So when you go to Psalm chapter 21, I think it's around verse 11, say, their hand will not be able to perform their enterprise. So that's where we at right now. They're trying to set these things up, constantly cause all sorts of order, chaos, all sorts of different events, psyops, all sorts of things, back and forth. But one thing about it, we're not ignorant of Satan's device, and also the proof for see is the evil. So we know that we're here, and one thing about it, there will be no peace. So now let's start here with today's video, and after the video we'll start the lesson, and I hope that you will get edified.
Major breaking news on the conflict with Iran, where the ceasefire that was announced by President Trump in the Israel-Iran conflict already seems to be in question. As the president left the White House this morning, he said he was, quote, unhappy with both countries and seemed to confirm that both had violated this very fragile ceasefire. Overnight, Israel and Iran said they had agreed to stop attacking each other after the nearly 2-week-long air and missile war and U.S. military strike on Iran. Before the ceasefire announcement, one Iranian missile struck an apartment block in southern Israel, killing at least 4 people there.
Israel has already accused Iran of violating that fragile truce just hours after it began, saying they intercepted 2 Iranian missiles. The Israeli army said it will respond with force. Tehran, however, has denied any breach of the ceasefire. In the hours before the ceasefire was supposed to come into effect, both Israel and Iran tried to inflict maximum damage. Israel pounded Iran in one of its most deadly attacks of the past 12 days. The Israeli government says it destroyed dozens of government targets and killed hundreds of Revolutionary Guards. Earlier yesterday, Israel expanded its strikes, targeting one of the most potent symbols of Iran's repressive regime, the notorious Evin prison. In what could be the closing stages of this war, the human cost in Iran has risen to hundreds killed and thousands wounded. Since the early hours of the morning, an eerie calm has now descended on the streets of Tehran. Iran's parting shots came in 6 waves of missiles, with a direct hit on the Israeli town of Beersheba. Rescue workers rushed to the scene, searching for survivors. The bodies of at least 4 people killed in the strike were carried out on stretchers, bringing the death toll in Israel to 28. Some of the survivors were rescued after being trapped beneath the rubble of their bomb shelter in this shattered apartment block. The war escalated sharply yesterday after Iran fired at least 19 missiles at the U.S. Al Udeid air base in Qatar, America's biggest base in the Middle East, where about 10,000 troops are stationed. There were no casualties. This video shows explosions over Doha as the Qatari air defense system intercepted the missiles. Only one broke through, causing limited damage. And the United Nations has said they hope the ceasefire between Israel and Iran will lead to a ceasefire in Gaza. Just this morning, the Hamas-run health ministry said over 70 people had been killed, at least 50 of them desperately hungry Palestinians trying to get aid.
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing. Do you understand that?
The attack is now on the United States to bring down the United States as the ruling state in the world. But in the process of bringing it down, the United States have some very important work to do for Israel. I can identify tonight two very important things that the United States has to do for Israel. There are many more, but there's no need to do more than simply two. In order for Israel to succeed the United States as a ruling state in the world, not only must the U.S. economy collapse and the U.S. dollar collapse, and when the U.S. dollar collapses, it brings down the whole world of paper money with it. And if you don't believe me, just wait. Just wait. Not only must the United States collapse its economy and its money, but in addition, Israel has to wage a big war, which even non-Muslim political analysts are now anticipating. A big war. Even Jews now within Israel, I'm getting emails, even Jews within Israel, Jewish academics who are up in opposition to the Sharon government, they are now understanding that there's something big about to happen. And they're warning the world about it. Of course, it's too late now. Israel has to wage this big war, which is already planned long ago. And the territory of the state of Israel will dramatically expand. And the Palestinian problem will be solved because they'll be exported out. That is the massive human rights crime that the Israeli academics are now anticipating and warning the world about. But in addition, in order for Israel to become the ruling state in the world, not only must she take control of all of this territory, she must also control the oil.
We seeing, the plans of the wicked, Lord is making their tongue fall upon their own selves, so they constantly telling on left and right, but it's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. So Lord is constantly making Esau bare. Let's go here to Jeremiah chapter 49. Let's get a few precepts. We'll close out. And one thing about it, we know that we are so very close. That's why we got to constantly high time to prophesy, constantly stay locked in to these scriptures, because we're here, man. It is at the door, man. I'll start here at verse something I want to get here first. Let's see. One moment. I'm checking something out. Let me see here. Something I want to get here. Let's see. We're going to kind of skip around. Let's go here first at Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 10. It said, "But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not." So one thing about it, the Lord is constantly exposing. The Lord is constantly revealing things left and right. And also, we're seeing that these Edomites are constantly going against one another, left and right, telling on each other. The Lord said, "I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian." The modern day Egyptian is the American, Americans. So one thing about it, that's what we constantly seeing. The Lord is making them bare. Also, anything that was hid now is, is coming to light. So the Lord is constantly removing the covering cast. So we seeing how these things are constantly playing out. We're seeing the true intent why they trying to bring forth this World War III, which in fact they want total control, but they're imagining a vain thing. So let's drop down to verse 14. Not verse 14. Just skip around, Salakia. Let's get this right here. Verse 15 is what the Lord is constantly doing right here. It said, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathens, and Salak." Let me start over again. Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 15 said, For lo, I will make thee small among the heathens, and despised among men. And that's right, exactly. They're gonna be greatly despised among men. The Lord's constantly making it small. One thing about constantly putting that spotlight upon him. You know what I'm saying? You eat them. You know what I'm saying? We go into Edom. It's talking about what Esau Edom, the modern day so-called white man. That's exactly what's happening. So let's go here again in NLT. In the NLT, let's get a little bit more edification. I would say, the Lord says to Edom, so I will cut you down to size among the nation. You will be despised by all. So exactly what's happening. We're seeing that these nations right now rising up against Israel and also the West, which in fact is America, Babylon the Great. We're seeing it right now. They're coming in alliance against, this. And also there's already rumors that NATO is not going to get involved in what America did just a couple of days ago when they bombed those nuclear facilities without their permission. So we're seeing how these things are going left and right. They constantly thinking that they're going to be the next superpower, but the Lord is, it's already got them in the crosshair. So let's drop down to verse 20. Salaki for the jumping around. It said, Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 20 said, therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he has taken against Edom, and his purpose that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So that's exactly what we're seeing right now. We know that the least of the flock is what? Amalek. You know what I'm saying? The Amalekites, the small headers, the Ish peoples, over there right now, constantly raising all kind of hell over there. We already knowing that not a Jew is constantly, he just what you call a warmonger. That's all he want. War. Wants to go to war with everyone. But that everybody, he's in for a rude awakening. The Lord's getting ready to cut him down to side. And also we know that these nations are very despising them left and right. So they get ready to rise up against the whore. We constantly seeing it. And also Israel. Man, these things are fastly approaching. And also it said their habitation shall be desolate with them. So that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. They are setting the stage. So we already know once America enter into this fight with Iran, they seal their fate. There's no point of no return. So it's what the Lord is constantly doing, is gathering the nation for the controversy of Zion. Also we knowing that last and final war is constantly lining up left and right. We're seeing World War III is constantly we're seeing it's getting more clearer and obvious that we're here. These things are not going to slack down for a moment. Also we know that things could go nuclear at any given time. So let's get verse 21 said the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. Said at the cry, said the noise thereof was heard, say in the Red Sea. So we already know that, the Lord is going to remove the northern army from their borders. We already know that a lot of warships already in the Yemen Red Sea area. That's the Hinder port. And when you go to Joel chapter 2 and verse 20, and also we know that the east part, we're talking about the Persian Gulf. You know what I'm saying? We knowing that a lot of warships is over there in that Straits of Hormuz. But it says right here, once again, said the earth is moved at the noise of their fall. So at the cry, said the noise thereof was heard, say in the Red Sea. So they're going to be totally destroyed. Stink shall come up. You know what I'm saying? We knowing right now that America and Israel will be totally destroyed. You know what I'm saying? We knowing that we are very close to this time. The Lord is getting ready to destroy all our enemies right before our eyes. So that is coming. So the Lord is setting the stage. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is gathering the nation. The Lord's getting ready to take down all these military, all these governments, all these kings of the earth, all these leaders of the earth. The Lord's getting ready to be one government. It's getting ready to be established. It's the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. That we at that time. Verse 22 said, behold, say he shall come up and fly as an eagle and spread his wings over Basra. And at that day shall the heart of the mighty men of Edom shall be as the heart of a woman in her pain. So that's exactly where we at. And, you know, modern day Basra is America. We know that Basra was a chief city of Edom. You know what I'm saying? So we know right now this is directly toward Esau, Edom. And also the Lord is getting ready to return with that fathership. And also the Lord is getting ready to unleash these IBCM missiles. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, they're going to be like a chase row. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about it, man, the Lord's getting ready to totally destroy America. You know, that's what we're constantly warning you about. This place is finished. And a lot of our people are constantly trying to accomplish something in this fallen kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And that's about it. You know, if you want to constantly be here, you want to constantly thrive here, then you're a part of the problem. You're going to be totally destroyed. That's why I said, title of the day, destruction cometh, and it's coming very soon. And they shall seek peace, but there shall be none. So that's where we at right now. So we are very close at these time. You know, we're coming upon a great economic collapse too. Let's get this in Ezekiel, and then we'll close out. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 7. Ezekiel chapter 7. And we're just going to jump around in this one too. There's a couple of them I want to get out of here. Let's start up at verse 5. It said, thus said the Lord power, said, and evil, and only evil, behold, is come. Said verse 6, an end is come. The end is come. It watches for thee. Behold, it is come. So one thing about it, we're seeing that an evil is coming, you know, very soon, you know, which in fact is Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, which is coming very soon, an ill time. You know, a disaster is coming our way very soon. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing it manifesting right before the end is being revealed. So that's exactly where we at. So let's drop down into verse 7 and verse 19. Let's get this right quick. Just a quick lesson through the Spirit. Let's get this right, because we know we're coming upon a great economic collapse. It says in Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 19 said, they shall cast their silver in the street, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is a stumbling block of their iniquity. So we coming upon that time where the dollar is going to be obsolete. It's going to be worthless. You know what I'm saying? I had a video, I think it was last year, whereby I think it was down in Brazil, some part of South America, whereby they were throwing all their money into the street because it was worthless. So it's coming upon that time. They're already saying about this new digital infrastructure they're putting into play. They already have these what you call these stable coins, also Bitcoin. All these things already in play, and also that grain of rice. It is right before our eyes. So, you know, so it's going to be a stumbling block. A lot of people are iniquity. A lot of people are going to get tripped up. You know, a lot of people are going to be totally deceived. A lot of people are going to line up and take that, you know what. You know, we're coming upon this time very soon. Let's read in NLT and we'll close out. It says here, Ezekiel chapter 7 and verse 19 said, they will throw their money in the streets, tossing it out like worthless trash. Their silver and gold won't save them. So on that day of the Lord's anger, say it will neither satisfy nor feed them, for their greed can only trip them up. So one thing about it, you know, in that day, on the day of the Lord's, in the day of calamity, you know what I'm saying, ill-gotten goods will not be able to save you. If the Lord's not on your side, you're going to be totally destroyed. So that's where we at right now. So we're seeing what the plan is, you know, to bring down this new system, to bringing this new digital society, you know, track and tag everyone upon this plan. Also, we know that, you know, that they want total control. And one thing about it, we already know that it will be no peace. You know, because the Lord is getting ready to bring peace upon this earth once again. The Lord is getting ready to set up that righteous order. And also we knowing that right now that our salvation is at the door. So we're coming upon this time. We're coming upon a great economic collapse. We're coming upon World War III. We're coming upon Jacob's trouble. You know what I'm saying? The hour of temptation, the grain of rice. These things are fast approaching. You know what I'm saying? Rumors of war all over the place. Famine, pestilence, you know, famine of the word. These things are here. The middle Lord, we goes over these things left and right. So stay prayed up, stay locked in. And one thing about it, we know that the Lord's getting ready to return with great glory and great power. So the title of the day lesson, once again, is Destruction Cometh, if they shall seek peace, and there shall be none. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rikak Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.